Ah, so it looks like finally got this thing working. Just a couple minutes late. Uh, Sorry if anybody out there was waiting. Anyhow, it's another one of the 39. Yeah, I wish there were 39 nights of Halloween, but there are only 31. This is another one of the 31 Nights of Halloween broadcasts. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about sea creatures, sea monsters, horror from the sea. Um, I mean, sushi is horror from the sea, I suppose. Wow, this is a really cheap hat that is not actually, they don't have the thing centered. Well, you get what you pay for, I guess. Um, yeah, well, now I know. Anyhow, monsters from the sea. As far as I know, call it a jaunty hat. Yeah, something awry in the side chat says call it a jaunty hat. Yep, yep. Well, it certainly is that. um, but it was thematically appropriate for this little broadcast, and since someone gave it to me, I figure I should wear it. I just didn't realize it was crooked. Not trying to criticize the hat links. It's just yeah, and you yourself told me it was cheap, so there you go. Uh, Anyhow, um, so sea monsters, horror monsters from the sea, or creatures from the sea. Uh, well, seems to me, or I see, that I mean Lovecraft had some pretty cool sea monsters. The deep ones, the citizens of Innsmouth. They're land-dwelling half-breeds. Um, Pretty neat stuff has been done with them in the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, and there have been creatures inspired by them in D&D games and D&D game supplements. I don't think I've seen any movies that they've been used in, which is kind of surprising. Although maybe film effects is too expensive when it comes to the sea. I mean, there have been a couple of mermaid movies recently, within the last 5-10 years. That's recent for a guy who watches movies that are more than 100 years old on a regular basis and writes them up. Um, but yeah, there's not been a lot done with those Lovecraft sea creatures, which is a shame because I think there's untapped potential there. Could be people don't want to deal with the minefield that is the tangled copyright world that is the Lovecraft creations. I don't know. Now, as far as films go, my favorite sort of horror movie, and I say sort of horror movie because I see it referred to as a horror movie, but to my mind, it's more of a drama, more of a thriller, but more of a drama, really. It's called Night Tide, and it's a film starring Dennis Hopper, and I want to say Luana Anders, but I think I'm wrong about that. As usual, I'm very well prepared for these little broadcasts, but definitely Dennis Hopper. He's a sailor who uh, falls in love with a woman who works as a sideshow attraction at a seaside freak show sort of place, and she is a mermaid in that show. As the film progresses, one starts to wonder whether she really is a mermaid or just a little bit crazy. And by the time the film is over, we have some answers, but not all the answers. So uh, it ends kind of as mysteriously as it began. It's it's not a very well known film. Yep, Night Tide. Did I say that wrong? Or maybe I even forgot to say it. It was in my head. Uh, Maybe it didn't come out of the mouth, but yes, Night Tide is the film, and it's definitely one of my favorites. I haven't actually seen any of the recent mermaid horror films. I've seen some ads for them, but I haven't gotten around to watching them because, well, spending my time on old stuff, as is often the case. But Night Tide is, like I said, it's my favorite mermaid movie. Um, Other ocean-based horror films that come to mind are well, there's Virus. I guess it's under the ocean more than in the ocean. It's Oh my gosh, should have had more coffee today. Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, and it's basically undersea salvage people versus alien critters on the ocean floor or in some undersea base. Been years since I've watched it. I remember enjoying it quite a bit. So there's a review of it over on Terror Titans. I should have read my own stuff before I came on. But there's links to it down below. Let's see. Oh, there's Ghost Ship. As the title implies, it is a ship about a haunted. Well, the modern ghost ship is the one I'm referring to right now. A salvage crew comes upon a ocean liner that has been lost for decades. They board it to salvage it, and they discover that the passengers are very much still on board, if not entirely substantial. It's a okay horror film. It has its moments. Goes on a little too long in places, but it is not terrible. And if memory serves, there is another ghost ship that is from RKO from the mid 40s, around the same time that they did Cat People and Curse of the Cat People and The Seventh Victim, and that whole little cycle of well, frankly, foundation laying horror films. And that one is just a crew dealing with a captain who is becoming increasingly unglued as the film and the voyage progresses. Again, I have links to these reviews down below if you want to go take a look at them and decide if it's films that you feel like checking out. I enjoyed them. I think that if you're looking for some Halloween viewing, those would be good choices. For sea creature based Halloween reading, I've already talked about Lovecraft. The stories with the deep ones. Well, of course, there's the ultimate sea monster, Cthulhu, who is sleeping at the bottom of the ocean, whether it's of the literal ocean or metaphoric ocean. That remains to be seen. Let's hope we don't find out. Because, well, on the other hand, if Cthulhu wakes up, leaves the ocean, walks onto shore, that would probably take care of a lot of the problem of the rising seas, because he's huge and gigantic, and getting that much bulk out of the ocean should cause the sea levels to drop back down. Of course, he's going to destroy half the planet, but hey, sea levels are down. Yay! No more people throwing foodstuffs at paintings and gluing themselves to walls like morons. Yay! Um, and I'm trying to think. Someone did do a movie adaptation of the Call of Cthulhu a few years ago. Silent movie adaptation, actually, and I do think I covered it at the Shades of Grey blog, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, I'll have to go look at my own blog to see what I did there. But yeah, I just yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Call of Cthulhu that they did a movie of, because I do recall thinking that there's no way that they could. This hat is hot. I could never be a sea captain. Boy, or at least not a sea captain and still having to deal with lights shining on me. And wearing a jacket, and I turned on the radiator because the cats were looking like they were cold, and one of them is indeed very happy laying down by the radiator, so I shouldn't complain. Plus, I'm almost done here. Now, one final bit of reading thing I want to plug that I think is good reading material for Halloween, although it's not his best work. Once again, I'm going to be raving about Junji Ito, and he did a well, it's a series of stories, but they are more tightly linked than a lot of his stuff. Called Gyo. Don't know how it's pronounced. GYO. And as you can see, it says the death stench creeps. And no, that is not the socks of your teenage socks and shoes of the teenage boy in your household. That refers to all of the sea life, animals that eat the sea life, people, all of it around Japan, and possibly even around the world. It's not clear, but at least around Japan, they die, although they don't stay dead, and they turn into these horrible mutated monsters that come on land and pretty much start ending civilization because they're unstoppable and they stink to high heaven. Like I said, it's not, in my opinion, it's not Ito's best book or best work. It kind of drags at times. It's a little repetitive, but there are plenty of scary moments and plenty of absolutely disgusting moments in the series as these monstrosities invade and consume civilization. So it might even be a book that if you're a big environmentalist, you might enjoy reading this, because nature is striking back at people, even if people seem to, well, and people probably caused, well, I won't give away the story. There are some plot twists in here, and there's actually some of, in my opinion, excuse me, give me 1 second. Yeah, iced coffee after midnight, genius. There's also some again, like I said, it's not his strongest work, but there's some nice tragic moments in here. H.P. Lovecraft is up. I mentioned Something Awry helped my my faulty memory, and yes, indeed, H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society did a Call of Cthulhu movie, and that is the one I'm thinking of. It's black and white. It's silent. It has some very nice special effects. Especially, there's the scene that sticks in my mind is when the characters arrive at Rayleth and they pull up in the launch from their ship and get off the boat and start heading into the alien city. given the sort of budget and what the people working with, and even not considering that, it's just a very nicely done scene. Uh, so yeah, yeah, the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society's movie, Call of Cthulhu, it's worth seeking out, in my opinion. And actually, I just looked at the back of the book here again. I guess the trouble starts in Okinawa, but it spreads, and it is well, like the back cover copy says, hold your breath until all is revealed, because there's a floating smell of death hanging over the island. And they mention the two main characters here, Tadashi and his girlfriend Kaori. And this actually also has a sequence of events that I think are probably the most tragic in any of Ito's work. And that, yeah, and that even includes in Ramia, where the world ends. Big giant alien eyeball destroys the world. Oops, give away the ending on that one. But actually, the ending is obvious in that book from the very beginning, so I didn't really ruin it. But even that isn't as tragic as what happens in this book. So yeah, that, as much as I think he's done stronger works, because novel length stuff, which basically this is, I don't think it's his forte. But it's, like I said, it still has some of the most tragic character developments and character situations in anything that he's done. So that does make this worth Gyo. I guess if it's a Japanese word, Gyo sounds right. Too bad Stan isn't here, because I'm sure Stan would correct my pronunciation. Maybe if he comes along later, he will, and he's bored, he'll watch this and he will tell me, or I'll have to ask him, come back and correct myself later on. There are other sea monster movies. Roger Corman, everybody's, if you love bad movies, everybody's favorite producer of cheap and horrible things from the late 50s into the 60s, as well as some very well done Edgar Allan Poe movies. He had a couple of truly atrocious sea monster movies. And oh, we look at that. That window closed on me. Why did it do that? I must have clicked on a. Well, I was going to mention those. I had them up in another window, and I closed that window because I am a genius. God, and I don't want to quote the wrong movies, because I don't think 20,000 Fathoms Under the Sea was his film, but it is one of the borderline terrible sea monster movies. All right, you know what? I'm gonna just take a moment and call this up, because I do want to mention it. I do want to put it on record that it is one of the fun bad movies, but it is a bad movie. Roger Corman. Let's just go to his name. Yeah, that's actually somebody recently asked, why do I stay on Blogger? Apparently, WordPress is a better blogging platform, and I guess more people go to WordPress blogs these days. I don't know, but again, maybe this on WordPress as well. But I like to just, all right, I'm looking for something that, like a dumbass, I closed the window. Now I need to try to quickly find it, which of course tonight I'm not quickly finding things, because I am under pressure. Roger Corman, where are you? Oh, there you are. Right next to Roger Delgado, of course. Okay, so the film I'm trying to remember is. Ah, boy. Did I not review it? I must have reviewed it. I'll be damned. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Creature from the Haunted Sea. If you want to. Yeah, something awry beat me to it. Thank you. That is the one. It has the goofiest sea monster that you will ever see put on screen. Um, I guess it kind of looks like what Cookie Monster would look like if you tossed him in the water and his fur was all flattened out. But it is a hilarious looking creature, unintentionally hilarious. Um, and yeah, I gave it a 4-star rating, but I still enjoyed it. I mean, it's by no means a good movie, but it is fun. It is it's just fun. Let me see if there's any other. Yeah, the headline on my little thing here is one of the best bad monster movies you'll ever laugh at, and that is a true statement. Check it out. You will like it. Just don't expect it to be. Yes, it came from beneath the sea. There's another one. Um, Faith Domergue is in it. She's the best thing about it, really. It's a little slow moving, but if you like uh, kaiju movies, giant monster movies, I think you'll appreciate Creature Rubbish. It came from beneath the sea. That's another one I think that you'll enjoy. Good old fashioned monster film. Ah, okay. The Phantom from 10,000 Leagues Below the Sea is the movie I was trying to remember. Well, it's actually just The Phantom from 10,000 Leagues. That's that is of course that's got to be the absolutely deepest place in the ocean. Um, that one is almost so bad that's not even fun, but it has some nice monster moments in it. I would not subject myself to that film again. Uh, it's been years since I've seen it, but there are some moments of unintentional comedy, but I think they're probably a little too few and far between to make it worth your time. Mystery Liner, that's a good one. It's a film where it's from 19, what is it, 43? No, 34, 1934. It's definitely one of those low budget poverty row films, but it's got a nice mysterious vibe through the thing. Is it spies or is it ghosts that are menacing this particular ship of fools crossing the ocean, uh, or a ship of victims, however you want to look at them? Again, not great, but it's not exactly a terrible film. I wouldn't go out of my way for it, but uh, I came across it in one of these super mega packs they were doing years back. And if it's in one of those collections of films, it's worthwhile. But going out of your way for it, I wouldn't recommend that much. Um, well, that is pretty much all I have on this topic. Well, actually, I can plug the New Love Games blog if you're looking to do something with your modern day game setting, something horrific that's close to the ocean. I think there's a very neat blog post over there. Uh, it describes probably the most haunted lighthouse in um, any game product anywhere. And it's designed to more or less be easily adaptable to just about any game system that's there. There's a map of this lighthouse, there's encounters, um, There's a couple of things left undeveloped there, which I swear by the Sleeping Cthulhu that I will get back to finishing those. In fact, the Siren's Cave, the Siren's Cave, which is mentioned in that piece, is pretty much done. I'm just in a situation where, like, with 3 other things or 4 other things, I look at it and I go, this isn't quite where it needs to be. And I haven't liked the suggestions that have come back from what few suggestions that one of my collaborators has been able to make, because she's been super swamped for the last year. So yeah, the Siren's Cave, maybe I'll look at it tomorrow and everything will fall into place and it'll go up. But yeah, Lighthouse at Devastation's Point. Check it out in those games blog if you're looking for something ocean related, lots of ghosts for your role-playing game. And on that note, I am done talking. If somebody wants to recommend a sea-based creature movie I need to check out, that's what the comment section is for. If well, that's basically it. Yeah. So if you find this later on and you want to recommend something I should see about the sea that isn't SpongeBob SquarePants, there's a horror thing for you there. SpongeBob. Yeah, I can't even say it. It scares me so much. I've actually tried to watch some SpongeBob SquarePants, and maybe it's because I'm not sick. Well, mentally, some people might say that I am. I don't understand the appeal. I really don't. All right, that's about it. Oh, I actually did forget. There is, of course, the ultimate sea creature horror story tragedy, The Little Mermaid. The original Little Mermaid story from Hans Christian Andersen. That story is pretty dark. Yeah, pretty dark. That's all I think I can say about it, because I am coming up on half an hour and I need to wrap this up. So back to signing off. Thank you, Something Awry, for dropping in and for helping my faulty memory. And yes, if someone finds this later on, please recommend films to me, especially if some of those recent mermaid horror films are worth checking out. And on that note, I am going to get out of here. So click button 1, click button 2, and we are clear.